About AQI datasets of India.
HTML. Okay. Another disaster, something which we face every day. But it generally becomes hard to speak in Bangalore about this topic because it rains every day. We had a good talk on trees, so generally get we feel that we are breathing good air. But thanks to forgot his name, anti-aging guy, for wearing the yeah, for wearing that mask and in Bangalore, so that I can now speak about this issue much more confidently. Okay, so I'm Sai Krishna. I'm working with urbanemissions.info as a research associate over the last couple of years, and primarily I work on the data front, opening data sets related to air quality. Some background related to air quality related data sets. There are three sources. We focus on monitoring data, which is what your AQI monitors. CPCB has few monitors in India. All the data collected by these monitors is the monitoring data, and then we have satellite data. Tropomi is one major satellite that is on India, and we collect data from that. And then there is physical models, model simulations, and outputs of those models. We also use that data for forecasting and other needs. But today I'll just speak about the monitoring data. This is how a monitor generally looks, and three basic information points that we can get from a monitor is what is the amount of pollutant concentration at that instant of time. In India, we get, there are two different kind of monitors. I'll go into it. We get data at a 15-minute interval. So where is that monitor will give us the location of the pollution concentration and the time intervals. And one major issue with monitoring data is, which generally media also doesn't consider it when they report it, is that each monitor just represents an area of this 2 kilometer radius. 2 kilometer radius area is what it represents. So generally when the media reports it, it doesn't take this point into consideration. And as a result, when if your city has very less number of monitors, it means that the AQI value that the media is generally reporting for that city is not a representative value. Yeah, I'll just start the major point. So there are two kinds of monitors. One is called CAAQMS monitors. Like these are continuous air quality monitoring stations, which give data every 15 minutes. There are about 500 monitors in India. I think Vivek Matthew, yes, he already cleaned this data up for and put it on data meet. I think that data is set at hourly frequency. But we also have something called manual stations. So the manual stations give data, like what is considered as a manual station is it for at least 103 days in a year, if it can give daily average AQI value for the city at that point, then we consider that as a like manual station. And there are about 800 manual stations when we last counted it, but the numbers wouldn't change much. And we saw great increase in the number of cities having monitors, but as I previously mentioned, most of the cities, like about 200, more than 200 cities, have just one monitor, and media reports the AQI value of that one city as the of that one monitor as the average of the city, and which means it's not really representative. We are only speaking about one small box in that city as representative of the entire city. And there are only few, like about 15 cities that have sufficient, like decent representation with respect to AQI values. And an estimate that we need about 4,094 monitoring stations, and we are very short of that. Nevertheless, we have what we have. So from 2015 onwards, we scraped some data. So CPCB publishes something called daily AQI bulletins. Every day we get a PDF, favorite standard of the government. So now this data set probably was in Excel first, but then they had to convert this into a PDF. So they converted into a PDF and they publish it every day at 4 p.m. This is the AQI bulletin, official data daily reported for all the cities that has a monitoring capacity. And these variables are very important for us. Like one, we have city, we have this AQI values. The third column is the index value. And what generally media reports is the air quality categories: good, satisfactory, very poor, etc. So we have that important column. The most important column for us is the prominent pollutant. Is so on any given day when we calculate AQI values, one of the many pollutants will dominate, will drive the AQI value. So that becomes important for during the analysis. And also, not every station in that city is operating on that day. So we also get an information of if there are any in cities, like what is the percentage of monitors that are not working on any given day. So this is the data, and we scraped for the last 10 years, did some cleaning with OpenRefine. I think that tool saved my time a lot. Got to know about it very recently because the city names would. This is a. I'm happy that they started doing this. Aurangabad, Bihar, and Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Because in the previous years it was not the case. It was just Aurangabad, and I mean I had to delete few rows because I don't know which state that Aurangabad belonged to. So, but it's improving. But OpenRefine really helped me clean these things in a better way. And then I started putting it on Datasette because when I was applying for this talk, I thought putting it on Datasette would make it easier for me to get selected. So I put it. But otherwise, it really helped us with respect to like showing the data public. Like I learned a lot about Datasette while I was doing this, and it enabled us to actually show our work to many more people, share work more easily as well. And like if just people interested in Datasette, I'll just show this facets option. You get a drill down version of your dataset that you publish. And if I go into Delhi, because that's where most of our stories are, we go to Delhi, I see that, okay, this is the number of rows basically for each of those categories. I can see that there are about 164 severe days for air pollution. I'll click that, and then I'll see that, okay, most of those days are in the months of November, December, which is obviously that we have days when you listen to a lot of pollution stories from Delhi as well. Stubble burning is just one of the reasons, but yeah, many other reasons. So like this data set feature, I'll show other thing which we really liked in this. Then what major aspect of working with this was also that, okay, we got the data, started publishing it, but what I really liked is if you spend more time with any data, and it can be small data, it need not be big data per se, and that's kind of the theme of the open data Devroom also, which I liked, is that if small open data, but if you really work with it, spend time with it, you will find some stories in it. And as I spent more time with this data, as you see, it just has 5 columns, and just but I could develop a lot of stories. I could tell a lot of stories when I was working with this. So it just yeah. So just to start with basic visualization of it, we wanted to see what are the prominent pollutants more visually. So if I want to see, okay, on which days carbon monoxide is actually the prominent pollutant that I'm breathing, like, so I can just so developed small visuals based on that. And obviously these are the days when pollution is generally low, because again in those months Delhi it rains well and pollution is less, but still because the particulate matter has reduced, your driving pollutant has become, like carbon monoxide has become the driving pollutant. So this one, just looking at the PDF, we would I would not have found that so easily. So visualizing these things helped me just pick those insights from the data. So this was our first work that we could do with this data. And then like one of my greatest sources of data is media itself. So there's always that battle that happens. I read something which I feel like, no, this is not, you are reading the data wrong. And my preview of working with this data more closely, I just get to analyze this better. So this recent July, this news was famous that Delhi really saw a very clean July with respect to air pollution, and the government claimed that. Let me find that. Yeah, true determination always delivers visible results. And I was like, let's check that true determination. Uh, so we started doing like again, how do you test these things? My only tool is statistics. So uh, I read this book called Art of Statistics just the day before I read that news, and there's one chapter in which he analyzes just using random variation in the data. Can you test such claims? So we saw that okay, Delhi's AQI data, average AQI data, which the claims were on, kept varying. There was this random variation across the years. So we really cannot claim that there is systematic change with respect to government effort or anything. It's just that probably it rained more, and that was what the story concluded to eventually, that it rained more in Delhi in the recent July, and that's why we saw more cleaner days. And the thing with the data set that I liked there was not just the chart. We were able to just calculate, write an SQL query, share the query directly to anyone who is of interest. So I think that is one aspect of dataset I really liked. This is one more I wanted to share. Okay. And apart from this, there is also another source of AQI is this World Air Quality Index platform. So far this AQI bulletins and all is daily data that we scraped, and every month we try to update this data set. But if you want real-time data, there is this World Air Quality Index platform. It gives a free API. You can ping it almost, I think, 1,000 times per second or something. It's very liberal that way. Free API. So that has a lot of information about real-time AQI values. And I was toying around with that API and tried to develop something of this sort, where it takes wherever I open this website, it takes the AQI value from the nearest monitor, and that I try to populate those moving circles with the pollution concentration, the particulate matter concentration in the air around me. And if I really open it, this always works in Delhi. If I open it in Delhi, it's full, like all balls are moving around, and then I click on this mask up, and then like that is the only tool in my hand right now to help lesser particulate matter from going into my nose and lungs. So yeah, so these are few tools that, few things that we are able to do with AQI data, small data, but we will, yeah, I'll just stop there.
A quick question: how reliable have you found the government sensors to be?
Okay, I wanted to share that only. This short of time is what I thought, but so there's always this story of we were reading a lot of news about data manipulations that were happening, and again, same thing. We cannot claim things, good or bad, but again the tool is statistics. So we found one good tool called Benford law, which was implemented in China to test if China was manipulating the data, and that again this is only used to flag if there is any potential misreporting or fraud or data manipulation. The law basically says that the leading digits of any naturally occurring data set will follow this distribution. And we then try to take each city and try to plot, like just calculated a statistic to measure the deviation from Benford's law, and saw, okay, what is the status of monitors in those cities and also number of stations in those cities. What we generally found is that if there are more stations in a city, the deviation is less. But if there are less stations, we generally see a lot of like that year 2023 in Varanasi is when we saw a news report saying that Varanasi saw 70% reduction in air pollution. Obviously, like we thought, let's check, because satellite data was not showing so. Other cities around Varanasi were not showing so. So, like, how do we then comment about it? We found this one way to make some claim that, okay, if there is a deviation from Benford's law, maybe we can at least flag that there is some issue with the data.
Okay, I'm asking because.
Thanks. Thank you.